I met Melissa at a friend's birthday party in the middle of summer. She walked in late, sunlight behind her, holding a bottle of wine. Her smile hit like a flash. She had that calm confidence that makes a room turn quiet for a second. We talked about work, small things, nothing deep. I told her I worked in network security. She said she worked in marketing, something about branding and clients. She seemed like she had everything figured out. The kind of woman who always knows where the good light is. We exchanged numbers before she left. She texted first. That felt like a good sign. Our first date was at a Thai place near Capitol Hill. We ordered too much food and stayed until the restaurant closed. She laughed at everything I said, like she hadn't laughed in a long time. By the third date, it felt natural, easy. No games, no awkward pauses. Just connection. She liked that I had my own apartment, my own life. I liked that she was ambitious, sharp, always planning something. We started seeing each other 3 or 4 times a week. We went hiking on weekends, cooked dinner together, watched random shows. She said she felt safe with me. I believed her. 8 months in, she moved in. Her lease was ending, and rent in Seattle was brutal. It made sense. We turned the second bedroom into her walk-in closet. I moved my work setup to the dining table. She said I was the most accommodating man she'd ever met. At the time, I thought that was a compliment. Life together felt smooth, like we'd figured out the adult rhythm. Wake up, coffee, work, dinner, sleep, repeat. We'd sit on the balcony some nights, talk about the future. She said she wanted to travel more, build something meaningful. I said I wanted stability, peace, maybe a house someday. She smiled and said, "You're such a planner." I didn't notice then how often she reached for her phone. A quick photo here, a little scroll there. It felt harmless. She said it was part of her job, staying active on social media. I believed that too. The truth is, I liked watching her work. She was focused, intense, like she lived in motion. I didn't realize the phone was more than a tool. It was a mirror she couldn't stop staring into. Still, those early months felt golden. We hosted small dinners, took road trips. She once brought me soup when I was sick, stayed by my side for days. That version of her was kind and real. When she smiled then, it wasn't for a camera. It was for me. And maybe that's why it took me so long to see what was coming. Because when someone shines that bright, you don't look for shadows. You just keep hoping the light will last. It started small, almost invisible at first. A quick photo of her breakfast, a selfie before leaving the house. Then the photos became rituals. Every coffee had to be documented. Every outfit had to match the color of the day. She said it was part of her personal brand. I laughed the first time she used that phrase. I thought she was joking. She was. Her mornings turned into mini productions. Makeup lights on, hair curling, outfits spread across the bed. She'd spend an hour picking the right, casual look. Then another 30 minutes choosing a caption. I watched her edit a photo of her latte like it was a work project. Brightness, contrast, warmth, tone, hashtags. Everything calculated. We used to talk during breakfast. Now the only sound was the camera shutter. When we went out, she'd stop every few steps to pose. "Hold my bag," she'd say, and I'd turn into her photographer. Sometimes I took 50 photos before she was happy with one. If I sighed, she said I didn't understand her vision. Dinner dates turned into photo sessions. Movies turned into background noise while she scrolled her feed. I tried to joke about it. Are we dating or are we curating? She didn't laugh. She said I was being negative, unsupportive. She said building her online presence was part of her career. I wanted to believe her. But the truth was, I missed being seen. She stopped looking at me and started looking at her phone. Even when we were together, it felt like she was somewhere else. Once we went to Pike Place Market, just to walk around. I thought it would be fun, something normal. Instead, she spent hours staging photos with flowers, fish stalls, and coffee cups. I carried her bag, while she chased angles and filters. When I asked if we could just enjoy the day, she rolled her eyes. "You don't get it," she said. "You don't understand what I'm building." That line stuck with me. What she was building didn't seem to have space for me in it. Our home changed too. Ring lights appeared in the living room. Boxes of PR products filled the kitchen table. Every wall became a backdrop. Every night became content. She'd record little videos about balance and authenticity. But none of it felt real. We'd sit in silence while she edited, her screen lighting up her face. The girl who once laughed at my dumb jokes now only smiled for her followers. Sometimes I wondered if she even noticed how far we'd drifted. I thought about saying something serious, drawing a line. But I didn't. I told myself it was just a phase, that she'd find her way back. But deep down, I knew the version of her I loved was fading. And the person replacing her cared more about likes than love. It started with a name I kept hearing. Ryan. At first, he was just another coworker from her agency. She mentioned him casually, said he was so creative and really gets me. I nodded, tried not to think too much of it. Everyone talks about coworkers sometimes. But soon, his name became part of every story. Ryan said this. Ryan did that. Ryan thinks this campaign will change everything. I started noticing the way her eyes lit up when she talked about him. That glow used to be mine. I told myself I was imagining it. But small things kept stacking up. She started taking her phone everywhere, even into the shower. She flipped it face down when I walked into the room. She laughed at messages she wouldn't let me see. When I asked, she said I was being paranoid. Then she changed her phone passcode. The new one wasn't our anniversary anymore. I felt that like a punch. She said it was for security. The irony wasn't lost on me. I worked in cybersecurity. But I let it go. Because love makes you ignore alarms that would scare anyone else. By March, she felt distant even when she was home. One Tuesday night, she called me into the living room. Her tone was serious, rehearsed. "We need to talk." Those 4 words always mean trouble. She said she'd been thinking a lot about herself. That she jumped from relationship to relationship. That she needed to find who she really is. I listened in silence. Part of me expected this speech. Part of me still hoped she'd stop halfway. But she didn't. "I just need space," she said softly. Not a breakup, just a break. I wanted to laugh, but I didn't. I asked how much space she needed. She said, "A few months." I nodded. If she wanted space, she could have all the space she wanted. Her face fell when I agreed too easily. She expected me to fight for her, to beg her to stay. But I'd already seen too much. That weekend, she packed her things. Half her closet stayed behind, a safety net, a door left open. She said she'd come back for it later. I didn't say anything. 3 days after she moved out, I saw her post on Instagram. A sunset photo with the caption, "Finally taking time for me." Then another post, her by the pool, drink in hand. And in the reflection of her sunglasses, clear as daylight, was Ryan. The same guy she swore was just a coworker. The geotag said Cabo San Lucas. That was her self-discovery. I laughed when I saw it. Not because it was funny, but because the truth was finally loud enough to hear. She wanted space. I gave it to her. And for the first time, I didn't feel empty. I felt free. The messages started about 10 days into her trip. A simple "Hey, you awake?" at 2 in the morning. Then, "I miss talking to you." Then, "This trip has really given me clarity." I didn't reply to any of them. She didn't need a response. She needed attention. And I wasn't giving her that anymore. When she came back to Seattle, the texts turned desperate. Can we talk? I think I made a mistake. I just needed time to think. I finally wrote back one sentence. You wanted space. I'm giving you space. She said I was being cold, unfair. I said she was being dishonest. She said it wasn't what it looked like. I told her I saw her posts. That ended the argument. For a while. A week later, she tried calling. Then she showed up at the apartment building. I didn't buzz her in. She left a note at the door, apologizing, begging for another chance. I threw it away, without reading past the first line. I was done being the backup plan. Still, she kept trying. She told our mutual friends that I overreacted. That Cabo was just a work retreat. One of my friends showed me a photo of her dancing with Ryan on the beach. So much for work. Then came the landlord call. She requested a replacement key for the apartment. I told him not to give her one. She moved out. She wasn't coming back. I sent her an official letter, removing her from the lease. She called screaming. You can't do that. That's my apartment too. You left, I said. You wanted space, this is space. Her voice broke. I still have stuff there. Your boxes are by the door. Pick them up Saturday at noon. She showed up with Ryan and her friend Bailey. Ryan was actually helping her move. The same guy she swore she wasn't seeing. I watched from my window, coffee in hand, silent. She kept glancing up, maybe expecting me to come down. I didn't. She loaded the boxes and left. That was the last time I saw her in person. After that came the guilt campaign. Bailey texted me saying Melissa was really struggling. I said she should have thought of that before Cabo. Mutual friends reached out, asking what happened. I gave them the short version. Most stopped asking after that. Then came the long apology texts. Pages of therapy talk and self-reflection. She said she was healing, learning, growing. I told her that was great. She should keep doing it. She said I was cruel. I said I was honest. And then I blocked her number. It felt like closing a heavy door that had been open too long. For the first time in months, the apartment felt peaceful again. Just me, the quiet, and no more noise pretending to be love. By June, everything around her started falling apart. Ryan messaged me out of nowhere one afternoon. He said, "Hey man, nothing happened between me and Melissa." I didn't respond. He sent another message, saying she'd been telling people they were together. That it was making things weird at work. I replied, "Not my problem, good luck." 2 weeks later, I heard she'd quit or been fired. Stories didn't match, but the result was the same. She was out of a job. Her dream agency life was over. Soon after, the messages started again. I lost my job because of a misunderstanding. I'm staying with my parents now. I don't know what to do. I didn't reply. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Then she showed up at my building one night. She buzzed my unit, crying through the speaker. "Please, just 5 minutes. I need to talk." "No," I said, "go home. I'm not leaving until you talk to me." So I called building security. They escorted her out while she kept shouting my name. It felt harsh, but necessary. The next day, my landlord called. He said she was banned from the property. If she came again, the police would be called. I said, understood. That was the end of her visits, but not her performance. Her Instagram changed tone completely. Gone were the sunsets and latte art. Now it was quotes about loss, forgiveness, and broken people. Her followers ate it up. They called her strong, brave, misunderstood. None of them knew the truth. Someone commented, "Didn't you go to Cabo with another guy?" She deleted it. Another said, "Maybe focus on changing offline." Deleted too. Her life became a highlight reel of regret. Even her mom called me one evening. Her voice was kind, tired. "She's been crying every day. Please talk to her." I said, "She made her choices, Patricia. I'm not the answer." She said I was being cold. I said I was being honest. Then her father texted me, "Be a man and talk to my daughter." I replied, "A man doesn't take back someone who disrespected him." He didn't respond again. By September, Melissa posted a long caption about growth and mistakes. She said she'd learned her lesson, that therapy changed her. It was vague, but everyone knew it was about me. Some supported her. Others called her out. She deleted the negative comments and turned off replies. A friend sent me a screenshot, laughing. "Your ex is in full meltdown mode." I said, "She's talking to herself at this point." And it was true. I stopped checking her profile. I stopped wondering. Because watching someone drown in the mess they created doesn't bring closure. It just reminds you why you walked away. 6 months passed since I blocked her completely. The silence felt heavy at first, then peaceful. I started focusing on my own life again. The apartment looked different without her things. I replaced her daycare with things that actually felt like me. I built a custom PC setup I'd always wanted. 3 monitors, new keyboard, glowing lights, everything perfect. I realized I'd spent years making space for someone else's comfort. Now I was finally building something just for me. I started climbing at a gym near my place. At first, it was just for exercise. Then it became something more. I met people who didn't care about followers or likes. They just showed up, climbed, talked, laughed. No phones out, no fake smiles. Real people, real moments. One night, a guy named Brett invited me for beers after climbing. We talked about work, tech stress, the weirdness of Seattle life. It felt simple, honest, refreshing. For the first time in years, I felt connected again. A few weeks later, I met someone new. Her name was Hannah. She was a veterinarian, calm and grounded. We met at a coffee shop. She was reading a book about wolves, and I made a dumb joke about it. She laughed, not the polite kind, the real kind. We started seeing each other casually. She didn't take photos of her food. She didn't post about our dates. She just lived in the moment. When we went hiking, we took maybe 3 pictures total. She never asked me to retake them. She said, "Why would I post them? They're ours." That line stayed with me. It was everything Melissa never understood. Life wasn't supposed to be a performance. It was meant to be lived, quietly, sincerely. I slept better. I ate better. Even the air in the apartment felt lighter. The constant buzz of her phone used to fill every corner. Now there was only quiet, and it felt right. Sometimes, I'd hear updates about her from friends. They said she was working retail now, back with her parents. That she cried during lunch breaks in her car. Part of me felt bad. The other part remembered Cabo and the lies. Pity and peace can't live in the same place. So I chose peace. People said I'd been harsh, that I should have forgiven her. But forgiveness doesn't mean reunion. It means freedom. She made her choices, and I made mine. She chased validation, and I chased peace. We both found what we were looking for. I don't check her profile anymore. I don't wonder if she's happy. I don't need closure. Because closure isn't something you get from someone else. It's the moment you stop replaying their voice in your head. When you realize you've already moved on. When being alone feels like coming home. That's where I am now. And honestly, it's enough. Looking back now, it all feels like a different lifetime. The anger is gone. The confusion is gone. What's left is clarity. I used to think closure came from an apology. It doesn't. It comes from understanding why you had to walk away. Melissa taught me more than she ever meant to. She taught me that love without respect is just decoration. That silence can heal faster than any conversation. That some people only learn by losing what they took for granted. She wanted space to find herself. So I gave it to her, all of it. And somewhere in that silence, I found myself too. I stopped needing to be the good guy in her story. I just needed to be free in my own. I don't hate her. I don't miss her. I just hope she learned something from the wreckage. Because I did. Love isn't about holding on until it hurts. It's about knowing when to let go. When someone asks for space, believe them. And give them enough space to never come back.